Random House Audio presents A Piece of Cake, a memoir by Cupcake Brown, read for you by the author. The booming music coming from Mama's radio alarm clock woke me. I could hear Elton John singing about Philadelphia freedom. It was January 1976. Wasn't no school that day, but Mama still had to go to work. So I was going over to Daddy's house to play with Kelly, the daughter of his lady friend. I wonder why she didn't wake me, I thought to myself as I climbed out of bed. When I passed the dresser, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. Boy, was I ugly. Skinny, black, and ugly. That's what the kids at school called me. Or they'd yell, "Vet, vet, looks just like my pet." My name was Lavette, but my first birth name was Cupcake. At least, that's what my mama told me. Seems Mama craved cupcakes when she was pregnant with me. She had 3 cupcakes a day, every day without fail, for 9.5 months. I was 2 weeks overdue. While we were in labor, the hospital gave Mama some pain drugs. Once Mama popped me out, the nurse said, "Pat," that was my mama's name, "you have a little girl. Do you know what you want to name her?" Tired and exhausted from 8 hours of labor, Mama lifted her head, smiled, and said, "Cupcake," before she passed out. So that's what they put down on my birth certificate. I mean, that is what she said. When Daddy came to the hospital, however, he decided he didn't like Cupcake. Mama said Daddy wanted to name me Lavette. So just to make Daddy happy, Mama had the hospital change my name. But to her, I would always be Cupcake. She never called me anything else, except sometimes she called me Cup for short. Anyway, the kids at school always told me I was ugly. They teased me, saying I looked like Aunt Esther, that old lady from Sanford and Son, the one always calling Sanford a fish-eyed fool. She was the ugliest woman I'd ever seen. So if the other kids thought I looked like her, I knew I had to be ugly. Besides, everybody knew a black girl wasn't considered pretty unless she was light-skinned with long, straight hair. I was dark-skinned, with short, kinky hair. I hated my complexion. I hated my hair. I hated my skinny arms and legs. But my mama thought I was beautiful. She'd say, "Cup, you're only 11 years old. You will appreciate your beauty as you grow up." Shoot, I couldn't wait to grow up. Mama always said things to make me feel better. I loved my mama. She was my best friend, and she was beautiful. She had cocoa-colored skin, and her long black hair hung way past her shoulders. And Mama had the biggest, prettiest smile you ever saw. People always told her that she looked like Diana Ross because of her long hair and wide, beautiful smile, all teeth. I passed the ugly black thing in the mirror and headed toward Mama's room. The radio alarm continued to blast. I giggled to myself. Mama was like me. She hated getting up in the morning, so she put the clock way across the room and turned it all the way up, so she'd have to walk across the room to turn it off. I wonder why she didn't turn the alarm off, I thought as I made my way toward the large living room that led into Mama's room. The floor was cold because there wasn't no carpet in our house. Still, I loved our old house. It was Victorian style, 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. We lived in San Diego, in the heart of the ghetto, though I never knew it till I got older. I thought my family was rich because I was the only kid in the neighborhood who had her own bedroom, with a white princess-style bedroom set, canopy bed, matching nightstands, and a dresser. I had a closet full of clothes. I never had to share clothes or wear hand-me-downs. Mama loved to sew and made most of my clothes. Little did we know that we weren't rich. It's just that both my mom and dad worked, while the other kids only had one parent, trying to raise several kids, either on one income or more commonly on welfare. Though being on welfare ain't nothing to be ashamed about. Most everybody was. In fact, I envied my friends on welfare because they got government food that you couldn't get from the store, like this great government cheese. You ain't had a grilled cheese sandwich till you've had one made with government cheese. I wish she'd have woke me up, I thought, as I followed the sound of the blasting radio. I was excited about going to my daddy's. Daddy lived around the way with my brother Larry. I hated Larry. Although he was 2 years older than me, he never acted like a big brother. He never protected me. In fact, he was usually the one I had to be protected from. Larry hated me just as much as I hated him, but for different reasons. He was jealous of me. I was the one who always got good grades and saved my weekly allowance so I could buy something nice, while Larry hated school and spent his money faster than he got it. Our hate for each other resulted in fierce fights, cussing each other out, a skill I turned into an art from an early age, and throwing knives and hammers at each other. Our fights were no joke. We were trying to kill each other, for real, or at least cause loss of body parts. So I was glad when Mama sent Larry to live with Daddy. I remember the day Larry left. Mama told Larry to move a can of paint from off the back porch. Larry stomped toward the paint can, but instead of moving it, he kicked it toward Mama. The can flew like a football toward a goalpost and struck Mama on the shoulder. The lid toppled off and paint flew everywhere. Mama stood there with paint dripping off her clothes and face like icicles off a tree. She balled her fist. I thought she was going to knock the shit out of Larry, but instead she spun on her heels, stomped over to the phone, and called my daddy. "Come get this little nigga before I kill him." Needless to say, Daddy quickly came and Larry quickly went. Daddy and Mama would switch me and Larry on the weekends. This meant that Larry and I had to see each other only in passing. I loved my weekends with my daddy. We'd dress up, Daddy would put on his one suit, and I'd put on a nice dress, and we'd go out on a date. We'd usually go somewhere for dinner and then to the movies. My daddy was the only person besides my mama who thought I was pretty. He'd hop me up on his knee and ask, "Who's the prettiest girl in the whole wide world?" And in between giggles I'd say, "I am." But I never believed it. He had to think I was pretty. He was my daddy. Didn't bother me that Mom and Daddy didn't live together. They still loved each other. Daddy did have a lady friend, Lori. But to me, she was just that, his friend. Lori was a tall, thin white woman. I really liked her daughter, Kelly, a pudgy, Mexican-looking girl with long black hair, only 6 months younger than me. Neither of us had a sister, so we decided we'd be each other's sister. I couldn't wait to get to Daddy's house so Kelly and I could play. I continued walking toward Mama's room, my head down as I contemplated which outfit I'd wear to Daddy's. I looked up and froze. I'll never forget what I saw. Mama was lying face down on her stomach. She was hanging off the side of the bed from her waist up. Her long black hair was hanging down, covering her face. Her arms hung limp to the floor. Mama? I thought maybe she was kidding. Mama was always playing with me. I expected her to jump up like a jack-in-the-box and scream, "Boo!" But she didn't move. I touched her arm. She was cool. Mama? I tried to lift her up by her shoulders so I could see her face. Her body slid off the bed and onto me, and we both hit the floor with a thud. As she landed on top of me, I heard a gurgling noise in her throat. Still, I didn't panic. It took a while, but I managed to squeeze myself up from under her and turn her over. She was so beautiful, even dead. I don't know how I knew she was dead. I just knew. I got up and slowly walked over to the nightstand where the phone lay and called Lori. "Lori, this is Vet. My mama's dead." I said it so casually, Lori thought she misunderstood what I said. "What'd you say?" "My mama's dead." "Are you sure?" "Yeah." "Stay right there, I'm gonna call your father." I hung up and almost immediately the phone rang. I nonchalantly picked it up. "Hello?" "Pumpkin, this is Daddy." "Hi, Daddy." "Pumpkin, what's going on?" "Mama's dead." "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I'm sure." "Call the police, I'll be right there," he yelled. I didn't call the police. Somehow I knew that they'd take Mama away and I'd never see her again. So instead, I went back to her, scooted my little body under hers so I could put her head in my lap, and began singing our favorite song, Chain of Fools by Aretha Franklin. We used to play that song as we sang and danced around the house. In fact, we had just been dancing to it and singing it the night before. I had known then that would be our goodbye party. It was then that I began to cry. And that's how Daddy found me, sitting on the floor with Mama's head in my lap, stroking her hair, and through my tears, singing Chain of Fools. "Did you call the police?" He bent down to feel her neck. I didn't respond. I just kept stroking and singing and crying. The radio kept blasting. Daddy ran outside and flagged down a police car that happened to be passing by. The cops seemed a little shocked at the scene. A little black girl, singing and crying, cradling a dead woman. A radio blasting. One cop picked me up, gently laying Mama's head on the floor, and took me outside while the other called for an ambulance. A little while later, as Daddy and I stood in the hospital parking lot, a doctor walked up and told us Mama was dead. Boy, I thought to myself, I could have told you all that. How long did you go to school for that one?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?